What's up, guys? In this video, we are going to be reviewing a brand new product from the DC Multiverse McFarlane toy line, a new version of Red Hood. Let's get into it. Alright, in this video, we're going to be going over three topics: presentation, articulation, and whether or not this figure is something that you want to pick up for your collection. Let's start with presentation. Here we have our standard DC Multiverse McFarlane toy line box with the window on the front, displaying the figure and the accessories that he comes with. Down below, we have the DC Multiverse logo, and below that, the name of the figure, Red Hood. Up on the top on the right hand corner, it says 12 plus, and above that, we have the McFarlane Toys logo. Up on the left hand corner, it says that this figure has 22 moving parts. Here's the side of the box with the DC Multiverse logo again, the name of the figure, and Dawn of DC underneath the name. Here's the back of the box, displaying some pretty neat looking artwork. I really like the way they're portraying Red Hood here. Very cool. Here's the other side of the box. We have more of the same. And here is the barcode, if anybody's interested in that. I am pretty excited to open this figure and see what he has to offer us. I do like the fact that we've got some weapons in there, so that's pretty neat. Let's go ahead and get him out of his box. Now that we have the figure out of the box and we're getting a good 360 view of him, let's talk about him for a minute. I do like the color palette they went with, but I am kind of biased because red is my favorite color, especially when you put red on black. It just works. But the detail wise, this figure is not lacking in detail whatsoever. I do like to see these straps that are coming off the boots here. That's pretty neat. I am noticing, though, that apparently the hood is all one piece. It's not detached. We will take a look at that a little bit later when we're doing articulation, but if that is the case, that's kind of a bummer. But we will make it work. Anyways, this figure is very pleasing to the eyes. Once again, just because of the color palette, and the detail looks pretty awesome, and we'll get an up-close look at him in just a second. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories that Red Hood came with. Up first, for the accessories, he came with a black DC peg stand, which at this point we all know is customary with all DC Multiverse McFarlane toy line releases. The only time you would get a different looking stand is if you got a collector's edition, and the only difference is that that comes with a metallic silver DC stamp as opposed to this black one that just blends in. Once you've seen one of these, you've pretty much seen them all. Up next, he came with a really cool looking katana. So that's pretty neat. And of course, we cannot have a Red Hood figure without a crowbar being one of his accessories. At this point, it's just the weapon of choice that McFarlane likes to put in the box with all Red Hood figures. Then he came with two swap out hands, so therefore he can hold his weapons, because the ones that he currently has on him are just closed fists. And then here is the card that he came with. Pretty neat looking artwork there. Same as on the back of the box. Here's the back of the card with the data file. If you guys would like to pause the video now so you can read that. Okay, let's get a closer look at this figure. Now that we have the figure back in front of us, let's go ahead and get a up-close look at him. So pretty neat looking sculpt there on the face. It appears that there's actually an entire head on the inside of there. But this hood is all one piece for sure. So that is going to make it kind of hard to move his head around. And we will get into that in the articulation part of this video. Great detail here on the arms. Definitely looks like McFarlane reused some pieces here on the back to hold his weapons. Great detail on the pants. I'm loving the straps here on the boots. That's pretty cool. All in all, it is a very neat looking figure. I'm just a little bummed about this because that's going to be kind of something that's going to hinder you when you're trying to pose him and do different things with him. All right, so that concludes the presentation portion of this video, and this is the part where I'm going to give my rating on the presentation, and then I will do the same thing for articulation later on. I do my ratings on a scale of 1 to 10. So the rating I would give this figure for presentation would be a 7.2 out of 10. It's a pretty solid figure, but there are some things I wish were just a little bit better. All right, on to articulation. Before we dive in to the articulation part of this video, if you guys are enjoying this content and you want to see more of it, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button and become a part of the Collected King family, and turn on those bell notifications so you guys can get notified every time we upload new content. And it would greatly help me out if you guys would smash that like button and leave a comment down below to let me know if this figure is something you guys are excited about or something that you're going to pass on. Doing all these things greatly helps out the channel. Thank you. Now we're going to dive in to the articulation part of this video, but I will say that I am concerned for reasons that we have already discussed earlier in this video. But nonetheless, let's check out the articulation and see how good or how bad it is. Starting with the head. Just as I thought, zero mobility in the head, which is a shame because there is a full head sculpt inside here. They really should have left this disconnected, so therefore there could be mobility up here, but making it all one piece, as far as I'm concerned, was a big mistake. That's a shame. The shoulders have very good range of motion. Here we have a full spread. This figure does have double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. He has a ball joint for his ankle, which is nice. And he does have toe articulation. Pretty good range of motion in the knees. As far as his torso, can do the ab crunch, but there's not much range of motion there either, so that's a shame. The wrists, full 360, they have pretty good mobility, so that's nice. He also has a bicep swivel. Just noticed that. So that's also nice. That concludes the articulation part of this video. Let's go ahead and give him a rating. And unfortunately for this figure, he's going to get a 5.5 out of 10, mainly because there is no mobility in the head because of the hood being all one piece. So that's a bummer. He also did not have very much articulation in the torso area, another bummer. But other than that, he had pretty good mobility everywhere else. So there's the rating, 5.5 out of 10 for the articulation. Let's get this figure in a different pose, maybe with one of his accessories, and let's talk about whether or not you should get this figure or pass on it. As we're getting a final 360 view of the figure, let's talk about him. I did swap out one of his hands so I could add his katana, and I added his crowbar to his back, as you guys can see. Off camera, I did try to get him in a few different poses, but was unsuccessful because he kept falling over. I'm not sure what that was about. Should you guys pick this figure up or should you pass on it? Let's talk about that. If you're looking for a new, fresh take on the Red Hood figure, sure, why not? I only found one at my local Walmart, so he seems to be pretty scarce. So if this is a figure you guys are wanting, I hope you're able to find one. But do you really need it in your collection? I'd go as far to say no, especially if you already have a couple of Red Hood figures that you really like. I suggest saving your money on this one and waiting until another figure comes out that you really want. He is a really neat looking figure, and I have had fun reviewing him. It just sucks that he has the mobility issues that he has. I wish he didn't. They should have kept that hood detached so you can move his head around. But all in all, he's still a pretty cool looking figure. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to be here and watch this review video. Until next time, never stop collecting.